In this demo, we're comparing two Gemini agents against the same customer feedback data. The first one is a generic baseline agent. It can read the raw comments, reviews, support messages, surveys, and social posts. The second one is our voice of the customer intelligence agent. This has more structure behind it: sentiment scores, intent labels, emotion labels, competitive flags, human review flags, and business context. So the goal here is to show the difference between an AI agent with no context to work with, just the data basically, versus one with data plus proper context. So we're working with made up data here for a made up company called Aurora Fitness, a fitness brand that sells exercise bikes and fitness apps. We'll give each agent the same 4 questions and see how they perform. Question number 1, keeping it high level, I'm going to ask both agents, over the last 30 days, how do Aurora Fitness customers feel across each channel? So that's YouTube, TikTok, reviews, App Store, surveys, support. The generic agent gives a reasonable answer. It creates positive and negative counts by channel and even gives a chart. So let's check out how it got there. It's working from raw text and doing the classification on the fly. That means it has to decide what counts as positive or negative in the moment. Now, when we ask our curated voice of the customer agent the same question, the answer is more structured. It gives us text count, average sentiment, positive count, and negative count by platform. That's a better analytical output. It's more than just saying, here are some comments I think are positive or negative. It's using a prepared sentiment layer. So now we're going to ask both agents which customers are comparing Aurora to a competitor and what are they saying. The generic agent gives a decent answer. It identifies Velo as the main competitor and it summarizes some of the common themes. The generic agent is working from raw text. It has to work out for itself what counts as a competitor mention, and if the customer clearly says Velo, it can probably pick that up. But if customers use product names, abbreviations, spelling variations, or indirect comparisons, it becomes less reliable. Now, when we ask the curated VOC agent the same question, the answer is more controlled. That flag comes from a competitor dictionary that we give it. So we can define the competitors once, including the names, the products, aliases, and then track those mentions consistently. That makes the answer easier to trust. So the VOC agent is not just guessing from the text every time. It's using the structure we've already built into the customer intelligence layer, and it also gives a clearer breakdown of what the customers are actually saying. So we can see pricing and loyalty concerns. We can see hardware versus software comparisons. We can also see customers defending Aurora on total cost, and we can see feature gaps like people asking for Garmin Sync. Question number 3, this one's a bit more operational. So I'm asking both agents, what are the top reasons behind negative feedback this quarter? Are people frustrated about the Aurora bike, the app, billing, or something else? Flag anything that needs a human to review. So the generic agent gives a reasonable answer. It says the main complaints are around the app and the software, then membership and billing, then the Aurora bike hardware. So it can tell us what people are complaining about, but it's less clear on what actually needs action. Now, when we ask the curated VOC agent the same question, the answer is much stronger. It breaks the complaints into categories. It shows total complaint volume, and it also shows how many complaints have been flagged for human review. And this is the key point. The app and software category has the highest number of complaints, but billing and subscription has the highest number of flagged items. So if we only looked at volume, we might focus mainly on the app, but the VOC agent shows that billing is probably the bigger business risk. That matters because not all negative feedback is equal. Someone saying the app is buggy is one thing, someone saying they are cancelling, disputing a charge, or angry about billing is a different level of risk. The VOC agent can separate that because the data already includes intent, emotion, human review flags. So the generic agent gives us a complaint summary. The VOC agent helps us prioritize what needs attention. Question number 4, pull the strongest positive quotes we could reuse in an ad or landing page. Only happy customers, nothing sensitive, nor competitor mentions. The generic agent finds positive quotes and tries to filter out anything sensitive or competitor related. So again, not entirely useless, but the recurring issue is that it's making those decisions in the moment. So it has to decide whether the quote is positive, whether it's sensitive, whether it mentions a competitor, and it has to decide whether it's suitable for marketing. That's a lot to leave to the agent every time. Now, when we ask the curated VOC agent the same question, the filtering is much safer. It uses the prepared sentiment layer. It can filter for positive sentiment. It can exclude anything that requires human review, and it can exclude anything with a competitor mention. That gives us a cleaner set of quotes that are much closer to being usable in actual marketing. The themes it pulls out are useful too. So it identifies identifies positive feedback around the Aurora ring, it picks up reliability and polish, it picks up community and motivation, and picks up on onboarding ease. So we're not just asking AI to find nice comments, we're using structured customer feedback data to find positive language that is safer to reuse. So the main takeaway from this comparison isn't that the generic AI agent can't answer questions. It can. But it has to work too hard. It has to classify, interpret, filter, and judge everything from scratch. The curated voice of the customer intelligence agent is different because the important context is already prepared. It has the sentiment scores, the intent labels, the emotion labels, it knows competitor dimensions, it knows which roles need human review, and it has instructions and verified queries that guide how it should answer. That makes the output more consistent, more auditable, and more useful for real teams. For a marketing team, this means they can ask questions like, which channels are getting worse? What are customers unhappy about? Which competitors are we being compared to? What needs urgent review? What positive language can we reuse in campaigns? And they don't just get a generic summary, they get answers that are structured around the business.